Hello, Harden here. Another quick video demonstrating the power of my new Tempest in running encounter missions, the 5 million to 20 million bounty missions, which are about the only thing I have time for. I can't really commit time to longer storyline missions. So I try and get my content in bite-sized chunks, and I want to maximize the amount of money I can make in the time I have to play in between interruptions from the kids and from work. So anyway, this is my Tempest. I've made a couple of videos already on my new Tempest. The T5 came out about a week ago. I got hold of the Tempest about 5 days ago, and I've been desperately skilling up the ship. Just to give you an example of that, I'll just show you currently where I am. So I'm currently training Battleship Command level 5, which will take another 4 days. The reason I'm training that, obviously I want to complete the skills here to get that 25% inertia modifier and velocity, because speed always does help a little bit, but primarily because the ship bonus for the Tempest, which I'll show you now, the ship bonus for Tempest gives you an additional 4%, minus 4% activation time, so that increases your DPS when I increase that level up to 5, and similarly the next one after that will be the large cannon operation level 5. That will increase the damage in its own right, so I will move up from 16% bonus and 6% speed. That will increase to 20% and 10%. So that will occur, and that will improve my DPS. But likewise, as with the battleship skill, if I go to ship info, you can see that there is an additional 5% damage there. So if I skill, once I complete that level 5 skill, that will actually be a 9% boost to DPS on this Tempest. Saying about DPS, I'll just quickly show you how my ship is set up and fitted currently, and explain the kind of logic behind that. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I like to get up close and personal and kill things as quickly as possible and collect the loot as quickly as possible. So basically my ships are about doing damage as quickly as possible. I fly with a little mini fleet with 2 battle cruisers. This is my first account that's actually made it to battleship, to Tech 9. My next one won't be for another pretty much 2 months, will be my second account, and my third account is a long way behind that, particularly as I haven't bought the third chip for that account. So they're both in battle cruisers. One's in a Cyclone, one's in a Drake. The Cyclone should be upgraded in a few days to a Drake. So again, that will help with the DPS. So anyway, I've got autocannons, which you can see here are Gist C-types. And then in terms of the mid slots, I've got 2 webs. Again, the issue with the autocannons, they've got reasonable tracking, but again, the more you can slow down the enemy to kind of minimal pace, the more chance you have of hitting well. So I've got 2 webs, a target painter, which increases the signature radius of the enemies, and a mid-slot group shield booster, which is primarily, again, doesn't really help the battleship itself that much. But the fact that I've got 1 of these on each of my 3 ships actually does produce, I think, again, let's have a look at this. So it produces shield boost amount of 433 every 20 seconds. And so I've got 3 of those running, so that's a shield boost of about 1,200 every 20 seconds. So what I find is the group shield booster can't keep up with incoming damage until you've destroyed a lot of the high DPS enemy targets, but what it does do is it gives you a bit more breathing space. It doesn't put as much stress on your main kind of shield booster, which is kind of important. I could obviously put on an additional target painter, I could put on a scrambler, could put on an additional web, but I find that this one actually is the most use, especially when you go into those 20 million missions where you have the 3 battleships on the 3rd wave, and there's a lot of incoming damage at the beginning of the fight. The extra large group shield booster does help with that. So that's why I've got that fitted in the 4th mid slot. I've got a couple of hammerhead drones, primarily because I haven't trained the large drone skills yet. So I haven't really trained drone skills that much at all. Otherwise I'd be flying a Dominic's. But I have got some mid-level skills, and I've got a couple of hammerheads there to add some extra DPS. In terms of the low slots, I've got a shield booster. This one isn't pimped. You can see this is just a green shield booster, which is the next level. I didn't have enough cash when I first bought this ship to actually upgrade that to one of the purple ones. I have got one adaptive, which again just improves the the shield resistance. Then in the mid slots, I have two gyro stabilizers, which increase damage. And I also have two tracking computers, and again these are not, I think the Eagle is the best tracking computer you can get, but this Marketeer needs to be upgraded when I have a bit more cash. The tracking computers are handy because what they do is they increase your range, which, considering the range of all cannons is so poor already, doesn't make that much difference. It's not really a huge benefit, but what it does do primarily is it increases your tracking speed by 11.24%. So I've got two on there, so it's about 20% extra tracking, which again helps you hit those small ships, helps you hit those ships moving at speed. So that's why I've gone with the kind of four damage mods there. So two gyro stabilizers and two tracking computers. On the subject of damage, you can see there my offensive damage when cold is 1,466. I think you can see the two skills I'm currently training, which will take another, I think it was about total of about a week to 10 days to complete. That should add on roughly about an additional 15% of additional damage here. So if you think about that, 10% would be 146. 15 would be around 210. So I think I should be pushing the 1,600 mark in terms of cold damage. And then the other thing which I hope to upgrade once I've got a bit more cash are the rigs. And as you can see, they're only level 2s. Again, we've got the cannon collision accelerator, which is a 15% damage bonus, and then the 2 bay loading, the cannon burst aerator, which is kind of speeds up the activation time, which is 10%. So when I have a bit more cash, I'm hoping that I can upgrade those, and again they should add in total probably about another 10% of DPS. So I think I could be reaching, in reasonably conservatively, almost 1,700 DPS cold with this ship. You may note that there is no prop mod. Oh, I've just done the thing where I exit the ship by mistake. Hang on a second. Let's get back in. As I was saying, I have no prop mod on this ship. Set active, which I wasn't sure if that would work or not, so I've been testing it. And what I find for these 5 million and 20 million missions is if you warp in at 0, basically all the enemies will be in range. My 2 battle cruisers are torpedo setups. My Drake has around 1,300 DPS cold, and my Cyclone has about 1,100 DPS cold, but they can only hit out to 15 kilometers range, whereas the Tempest can actually hit out to about 30 to 35. Although the damage is pretty minute when you're out to that range. You really need to be within about 15 to 20 kilometers to start doing some good damage. But you can see the DPS is pretty high, so you will start doing damage as you start approaching. And I found that there's, again, the enemy ships I find it on these missions, tend to come towards you, especially the smaller ships. The bigger ships you don't have such a problem hitting anyway. So I haven't found so far that I've needed a prop mod. The only thing where that might be an issue is when on some of the 20 million missions there are some enemies that do MWD out of range, and the big battleships do move quite swiftly out of range. And what I've done with the Drakes is I normally carry a second set of fittings for missiles. So I replace the torpedo launchers with missile launchers. I stick on a couple of tracking computers, so I can kill all the close stuff, go refit quickly, and then come back and kill the remaining. Normally it's just one ship that's sitting outside range. So, okay, I'll just go back into the fitting screen. Oh no, I've done it again. There's the fitting screen, hopefully. Yeah, so I think I've given you a quick rundown on there, so I kind of just want to show, give an example now of what this setup can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, again, this is how I tend to use this ship. I want to do things quickly. I want to get earn some ISK so that without too much stress, and then I can get back to doing other things as they come up. So here I'm looking at the missions. Okay, I haven't done a refresh yet this morning, so these are all the missions that were in my log already. There's nothing particularly attractive there. I don't really do the 900,000 missions unless they are one of the ones that hasn't got a tick and are contributing towards collecting one of the storyline books, which you can make some really decent ISK out of. So I'm going to hit refresh now, and let's see what luck I have here. Oh, it doesn't look like very much luck actually. Okay, all 950,000s. Wow, this is actually very bad. Normally I refresh in mirror item system, and normally you get 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 sometimes 5 million missions, but in this case just seem to have been exceedingly unlucky, and again no missions there that aren't already ticked. There is one 4 million mission there, but again I don't tend to do the AMR ones because I'm shield tanked, and I do find that they tend to go through my tank a lot quicker, and also they tend to be a bit further away. So in this case I've got actually nothing in the vicinity that I want to do. However, I have actually done the same process on my 2 other accounts, and I do have a couple of missions in the vicinity. One is a 5 million mission, and one is a 2 million mission on my 3rd account, which can't do the hard encounters yet. So what I'm going to do is we will go and do that first mission, which is in just one jump over from here. Okay, so let's see, we're already in a gang, so I'm going to undock all 3 accounts, and let's see what we can earn in the next 20 or so minutes. Okay, so the first system we're going to is a system called Lamadent, which is just one jump over, and I'm just going to move all my ships over there. Okay, so they're all in warp, and I just need to check who the gang lead is, because they're going to have to warp the gang into the fight. So actually in this case it's my account Second Mary, which actually is the one that has that mission, so I don't need to do anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to the loot. I'm going to change that to loot on there, and I'm going to change that to cosmic and modeling, so I can warp everyone in. So as I mentioned before, the tactic here is to warp in at 0 and basically annihilate the high DPS targets first, because again, you don't want to sit taking damage from battleships and battle cruisers. You might as well try and annihilate them as quickly as possible, because all those small ships, all they're doing, yes, they might be scrambling you, yes, they might be doing a bit of e-war, but nothing significant, and so you can kind of leave them to last. Get rid of the high DPS first, anything that could be risky. Again, with this kind of setup, with three ships in the fleet, there's no real risk of losing a ship unless you're, again, doing the 20 million mission on that first wave. That can happen sometimes if there's a lot of DPS, and if you're not paying attention, you don't turn your hardeners on and so on. Anyway, we're in the location for the first mission, which is Secede Caracal Navy issue. I don't know where they got the name for that mission from, but it's a little bit weird. Anyway, Fleet Command, Fleet. And I'm just going to change that to loot. So I'm going to turn the hardeners on, which is something I try and do when I'm warping in, because I often forget. So I like to try and remind myself before I warp in to do that. The other thing to note here is that my battle cruisers obviously get into warp and then warp faster than the battleship. So they will arrive first, so they will have the initial aggro from the first wave. But that's okay, because the first wave is normally kind of a bit lighter, so I don't really mind them taking the damage at the beginning. So I'm just actually starting the engagement on those accounts. Focus fire, approach, activating everything. Oh. And I will do the Tempest in a second. Okay, so my 2 battle cruisers are engaged now, and now I'm going to activate this. So I'm going to approach this Megathron, activate the target painter. I'm going to try my webs. I'm not sure if they're in range yet. No, but I am going to activate all my damage mods. Let's try the webs again. So you can see 2 7,000 hits there. So that's pretty nice. And again, likewise on my battle cruisers, I'm now activating the damage mods because my objective is to kill everything as quickly as possible and get on to the next wave. Okay, so start collecting loot as well. That's the other advantage of this technique, is that you are on top of the enemies, which means that the loot cans are next to you, which means you don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning up afterwards. So as you can see, these things are dying pretty quickly. You can see the Tempest was hitting the Nemesis there. Okay, next wave. So now the Tempest is available to get into the fight straight away. So we've got Megathron, approach, focus fire, target painter on. I forgot to put the group shield booster on. And now I'll just quickly go and look at the other accounts. I have to get my battle cruisers in range because they're out of range. Their range is only 15 kilometers. Okay, my battle cruisers are charging in. The battleship is already doing some damage, which is nice. Again, you can see the damage there is not as high as it was when it was kind of closer into that original Dominic's. So here we go, and now I can activate my damage mods as well. Let's see, we're at 15 kilometers. I'm taking a bit of damage there. I'm going to turn my shields on. I'm going to turn my webs on because they're on range now, so again, slow it down a bit more. And I'll leave my shield running for a bit. The nice thing with this Tempest is that it doesn't seem to exhaust its cap at all. So I'm just playing with my 2 battle cruisers now, targeting the Talos. Let's do focus fire on that as well, and collect a bit more loot. So again, I can turn that off because the group shield booster is now on one of my battle cruisers. I left my shield booster running, so the cap's a bit low on that. Hopefully they won't target that in the final wave. Okay, so you can see there the Nemesis, it's at 8 kilometers. You can see I did a 2,300 hit on it, and that's without the tracking computers on. So the Tempest is actually doing a reasonable amount of damage even to the small ships. And here's the final wave, which normally includes 2 battleships. The closest one is a Dominic's. I'm going to do focus fire. As you can see, it's 13 kilometers again, which is almost ideal range for this. I'm going to stick the webs on, and again then just jump over and manage my 2 battle cruisers for a second. They're also in range, so that's a bonus. Again, no one's got damage mods extra damage available. Okay, here we go, we can activate that on there. So again, 5,000 hit on the Dominic's, 4,000 hit on the Dominic's, 6,000 hit there, so it's pretty good. And then I'm going to focus on the Talus next when I approach the Talus. The same here, focus fire. Focus fire on the Talus. There is another battleship here, but it's beyond, can't target that yet. That will be next on the list after I take out the kind of heavier. So I go for my order priorities: battleships, then battle cruisers, then cruisers. Okay, and nothing's in danger here. Okay, just refocusing everywhere else. Less just turning on my damage mods on the battle cruisers, which I forgot about. And collecting loot. So that's the 3rd wave. Loot again. In fact, I can turn off the group shield, don't need to waste fuel. Again, the damage is minimal now. So that was, after tax, was a bounty of 3.5 million. And again, let's see. So I'm just going to go and collect the loot. I've kind of left a little bit behind this time. So I do have to kind of just head out and collect those last 2 bits. Again, so the mission reward there was 3.25. You can see I completed it in maybe under 5 minutes. And in addition to that, you'll get the bounties of the ships. And then also by collecting all the loot, it does stack up. I do go to Jita or I sell it to the Corp from time to time. And normally I wait till I've collected about 30,000 meters cubed, and that generally contributes about 80 to 100 million every time I do that. and that probably takes about a week to 2 weeks, doing a couple of hours a day collecting the loot. So it is worth doing it. I know it's a pain in the ass to collect loot, but I think it does add up in the end, kind of makes a difference. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly look at my missions again just to see. Sometimes you do get some pop up. Again, had very poor luck on that first one, and none have popped up in the meantime. So let's go to my other accounts and check what's the closest. Okay, my second account, the nearest is 11 jumps, which is too far away now for this purpose, and then I've got 3 jumps away in Hagalore. So I'm going to head over and do that now. So I actually, okay, so I know the way. Stargate, item, jump. I could obviously go into the map and set a destination for the fleet, but I find that the map actually lags so much when you open it, and then so much when you're actually typing the destination in, that by the time you do that and then set go as fleet, if it's only 3 jumps away, you've actually wasted more time setting that destination and going as fleet, so you might as well just do it manually. Again, that's just primarily because there's just so much lag when you open the thing. The only thing you have to do is just pay attention so that you don't leave any of your ships behind when you're traveling. So, and again, this is one other factor with the Tempest, is that the Tempest is a bit of a slow ass compared to the battle cruisers. It warps slower, it gets to the gate slower, so it does tend to lag a little bit behind. As I tend to do all my missions within 3-4 jumps normally, again, it just depends on luck, it doesn't really make that much difference. It probably slows me down by about a minute, in terms of an extra minute in terms of travelling time, which isn't that much, so it doesn't make a big impact. And I think in terms of the extra contribution that the Tempest has made in terms of how quickly I can clear these encounters and these missions, I think it's definitely speeded up to the point where it's been worth changing over from my Drake previously to my Tempest. But again, it's something that if you are doing more travelling with your encounters and travelling more distance, then it may, at this moment, until I boost the skills even further, it's probably a kind of a marginal call. The Drake actually might still be more efficient if you're doing more travelling, simply because it's a bit faster to move around. But as I said, for what I do, based out of Mirror Item, you normally do get a lot of missions there. Normally I have enough to keep me going between every single refresh. So I normally have complete 3 to 4 missions every half an hour in that 4 to 5 million range in terms of bounties. So making about 20 million every half hour minimum, purely on the kind of mission rewards, because they're all so close when you're refreshing there. So this is where we're going to Hagalore, jump. I'll just do the same on my other accounts. Jump. This video is now up to 23 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll do this next mission and then see if we can do a refresh or if there's anything close. If not, I'll probably end the video now. Again, I just hope this is useful for anyone who's thinking about flying a Tempest and thinking about flying a Brawler Tempest or doing encounters quickly like this. Obviously this setup is very specific to my needs, it's very specific for my play style. Obviously if you were going to be doing the harder storyline encounters where you get much bigger spawns, much higher DPS in the initial part of waves, then you really do need to put some more tank on your ship and reduce the amount of DPS, because this is very much a glass cannon, which works perfectly well for what I'm doing, but may not work as well if you're using it in a different context. Okay, so I just need to actually change who's the boss in the gang now, because it's my third account that's got this mission. Just going to do that now. Okay, so my 2 battle cruisers are in the system now. And so they're just waiting for the battleship to jump in. So it doesn't slow things down too drastically. Both my other ships are still actually cloaked, which means that they've been less than a minute sitting in the system waiting for the battleship to catch up. So we're going to walk to the thing, Migrant Ship Distress Corps. Okay, so everyone should be in warp now. Turn the hardness on again. Because this is only an advanced level mission, I don't actually even bother turning the group shield boosters on for this one, because the amount of incoming damage is so small. I don't want to waste the fuel. I can actually easily keep up with it with my normal shield boosters, so I don't even bother turning those on. And you can say the reward for this mission is 2 million. I do it not for my third account, primarily to keep for the storyline aspect, try and get the books. Okay, so I'm just starting the attack with my battle cruisers. So they're out of range. I'm just setting the afterburner and target painters on for them, and my battleship can start. My battleship's actually closer, so I'm going to set approach for this. Turn the target painter on. I'm not in web range yet, so I'm going to turn on all my damage mods, and likewise my battle cruisers are in range now, so damage mods. My cyclone is taking some damage, so I need to turn that shield booster on, turn on the web, turn on the damage, turn off the afterburner, save some cap. Okay, so you can see the first wave is going down pretty rapidly. I am in range with the webs now. I'll turn those on, which should help me hit better. So I actually did a miss there. Penetrates, that's my drones. Okay, 888. Not doing great damage on this. There's a 3000, so that's worked quite well. Okay, next wave, and again I'm going to target the Hurricane first because it's the biggest ship. Target painter, 2 webs, and just leave it to do its thing. Likewise, my battle cruisers are in range. Focus fire, approach, target painter, web, and same with the second one. Focus fire, target painter, web, and actually clean up a little bit here on the field while I'm doing that. And while I'm waiting for the damage mods to be able to be reactivated. So you can see that Hurricane died pretty rapidly. I'm about to be able to turn on my damage mods. Actually, I'm going to save my damage mods here for the third wave, so when that starts, so we can just clear that third wave very quickly. I'm still clearing, so that's the second wave done. Okay, here we go, and then we have another cyclone, so it's 14 kilometers, focus fire, target painter, 2 webs, and then my entire selection of damage mods. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with my battle cruisers, and you're going to see this cyclone go down super fast. Okay, and they're attacking my cyclone, so the cyclone's gone already. And now my battleship's also targeted onto a battle cruiser, onto a cruiser, and again the damage should be output from my battle cruisers. Everything else will mean that this is all going down. As you can see, so far I've not really had to do any manoeuvring with this battleship. The optimal range, if I do a quick look at my fitting on the guns, you can see the optimal range is 6.68 kilometers, so that my target's at the moment at 7 kilometers, so it's almost perfectly on optimal, and the accuracy fall off is 30.37. So total I can hit out to 36, but obviously the further away from that original 7 kilometers or 6.68, the more your damage starts declining. So I think at around 20 kilometers you're doing about half the damage you should be doing based on your DPS. So as you can see, that mission is now completed. I'll just collect the loot. I'll just bump up my shield, a little scratch on my battle cruiser as well. Collect the bounty for that. Okay, and then collect the loot on these 2. And then I'm going to check if I can refresh my encounters again. So you can see I've done a couple now since I started this video. Let's have a quick look. Again, if anything pops up, I don't know if I can refresh yet. It's still 11 minutes on the timer there, and you do occasionally get some that kind of just randomly, when you travel around, appear in your encounters book, but none there. My second account, the closest is 8 jumps away, which I don't. It's actually a mission that I need for a storyline, so I might travel out there, but I'm not going to bore you guys with doing that. Nothing else, so let me just check my third account, and let's see. Third account, oh, the nearest is actually 10 jumps away. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to trek out to one of those ones that 8 jumps away, but like I said, I don't want to bore you guys with that right now. So I'm going to end today's video right here. I hope this has given you some idea of the Tempest Brawler for missions. Like I said, I'm finding it a very nice ship, particularly as it's not fully pimped yet. Once I get up to that 1,700, 1,800 DPS, when I've improved my skills and improved the rigs, this thing is really going to eat through these encounters super rapidly. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you do like it, feel free to subscribe or hit the bell, as everyone else says, so I might as well say it as well. Alright, thank you, take care, have a good day, bye.